Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. Today, as I'm hoping you're all having a great day, we head into round 2 of the round of 16 where Christopher Bell comes in locked into the next round of the playoffs here. After Chicago, he picked up his first win on the season. We come into today 23 points above the cut line. Justin Haley 1 point above, Kyle Busch 3 above, Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, they're all in the danger zone. Ty Gibbs only 12 points above, same as Ross Chastain. Byron out, Shane Van Gisbergen, a rough day for him, and Brad Keselowski, a rough day in Chicago to start his final playoff run. How will things change today? It's the Charlotte road course. Anything will and can happen when we come to a track like this. We as well had some breaking news this weekend here. Bubba Wallace, who was announced would be leaving 23XI Racing at the season's end, well, he will be headed to Andretti Global next season. He will be basically taking over Connor Zillish's ride, who we know is going to Trackhouse for the 4th full-time car next season. So Zilish will be leaving Andretti. Bubba Wallace will be taking his place, as I have a bit of a rough start to qualifying, a horrific start actually to qualifying, and immediately we find ourselves in a bit of a awkward position in knowing that is really going to hurt us at the end of this lap. It's important to stick with it though here in this Mobile 1 Toyota Camry. We just got to survive today and we'll have no pressure going into the round of 16 cutoff race at Auto Club. So yeah, that's really the goal. Survive this race now as we come through the bus stop chicane here on the oval back straightaway and rejoining the traditional oval, going down through oval 3 and 4 into this final chicane. And I was pretty happy with the last half of this lap, really the last 3/4 of the lap, and we put a 1:18.685 and we still go P12, so pretty happy with that. Honestly, could have been a lot worse considering how the first few corners went. So yeah, quite satisfied. And how about this? On pole position, Rajah Caruth, Shane Van Gisbergen on the front row, Connor Zilish, Chastain, Elliott the top 5, Logano, Bell, Larson, Byron, and Austin Cindric in the top 10. The two part-time guys, James Davison, Earl Bamber, both inside the top 15 as you see the rest of the qualifying order. Eric Jones at the bottom of the grid after having a rough outing and a great race last time out though in Chicago. Now, we were in the Xfinity Series race. This is the regular season finale for the Xfinity Series. How about Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was in the field this weekend as well? He's got his drivers right in front of him, Carson Kvapil as well as Justin Allgaier. I have removed stages for Xfinity Series because obviously with the format changes with the playoffs, we've had to change the format in trucks and Xfinity as well, and I'll go over that as the playoffs start for both series, but not going to quite highlight it today. But nonetheless, simulating the races, you don't get to see where the stages are, how people finish in the stages, so I have decided to remove stages going into the playoffs and decided to test it out here in Charlotte. Early on though, Carson Kvapil gets the lead and runs away. I passed Justin Allgaier and I would run away from him, and it was really just a showdown at this point between Kvapil as well as myself. I think Carson Kvapil definitely in this career mode a driver that maybe looks to move up, maybe not next season but the season after, but he has been having a very solid season here with Junior Motorsports. Now as we slide on the exit of the right-hander here on lap 4, so we would lose a lot of the time that we gained on Kvapil, but we would spend the next few laps basically just trying to recover that gap, and we would do so. We would recover and then some. We were reeling him in quite quickly here in the final couple of laps of this race. Both of us have zero pressure from behind, like third place is like 10 seconds behind, and on the very last lap we run down Kvapil. We've won 3 races in the Xfinity Series this season, of course running for Sam Hunt Racing in this number 26, and now we look to make it 4. We clear the 8 with ease, not even a contest. Kvapil really didn't put up much of a fight, and we would come through oval 3, oval 4, Kvapil right to our back bumper, but it's not going to be enough for the 4th time this season. We'll come through to win in the Xfinity Series, all on the road courses over Carson Kvapil. Sam Mayer ended up 3rd place as well. Dale Jr. all behind us. JJ Yaley as well, and Jade Buford both in the top 10 as you see us burning it down, and as well the rest of the finishing grid on your screen. And as well as that scrolls through, I'm just going to go over the playoff grid. We have 12 drivers in the Xfinity Series playoffs. Taylor Gray's the top seed with 6 wins. Brad Perez, Carson Kvapil, Ryan Truex, Haley Deegan with her 2 wins are in. Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed. And then the 4 below the cut line to start the playoffs. Caden Honeycutt, Suarez, Mayer, and Andres Perez all make the playoffs, but they have some work to do. Now let's get ready to go. Charlotte Roval Racing, Sunday afternoon.
1 race down in this first round, 2 to go. We're here at the Charlotte Roval where Shane Van Gisbergen looks to steal the show from the front row.
He's a serious threat today, and he needs a big day to claw himself back above the cut line. No better place for him to do it.
Let's stay on top of it today, guys. Anything can happen. We're still not safe yet.
Yeah, 10-4, James. Let's just be on it. You know, anything can happen, like you said. So let's just do what we can today and make the most of it. Rajah Caruth on pole. He's looked dominant all weekend after a heartbreaking race last time out in Chicago where he was looking so strong, but 2 issues took him out of the race in violent crashes. What can he do today as he continues to improve? The green flag is out, and Caruth in the number 48 Overstock Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports leads the way down into turn 1. We all funnel off into this first corner behind the Meyershank 06 of Austin Cindric. Soon to be leaving the sport is that team, and Cindric's future still uncertain. Some rumors that maybe he's going to go sports cars racing going into next season is becoming a very prominent rumor in the garage. So these might be the last handful of races that we see Austin Cindric as a NASCAR Cup Series driver, as we got Earl Bamber on the left side for us for the 3 Friends Racing team here now, and you can see a little bit of smoke, some beating and banging. Here's Ryan Blaney looking up my left rear quarter panel, but Caruth takes the early command of this race. How about Carson Hocevar now looking up behind me, trying to get up my inside, can't quite make it happen here now, as we are going to have an opportunity to go 3 wide here with the Trackhouse Project 91 of James Davison, as well Ryan Blaney will go and get them both around the outside. We started P12, half a lap later we maintain that 12th position as we go into the bus stop chicane. Blaney under pressure from Hocevar in the rear view mirror. Caruth running away from the front runners now, and we look to run down Earl Bamber to go get ourselves up into P11. Kyle Larson P10 had a pretty quiet day last time out in Chicago to kick off the playoffs. P6 for Larson. That's, you know, for his standards, not a great day for this season of Kyle Larson, but yeah, I mean, still a very long playoff to go. Larson has the opportunity today to lock himself into the round of 12 on just points, so it's really not taking a lot for Larson, as we'll clear Earl Bamber there. And now up into P11, Ryan Blaney trying to follow me through immediately now, but you can see as William Byron enters this race 1 point below the cut line. He's running in the points right now in the stage, but he's a little bit off the pace, and there's a gap between him and 8th, and he's holding up Larson. He's holding up myself. James Davison's marching his way forward. Watch out for Project 91's Davison today, but I'm waiting. I'm trying to be patient here. We have a lot of laps, 8 laps in stage 1, but I mean, nothing's really happening here. Larson's not forcing the issue, so I'm going to force it for him. I'll go around the outside. We'll go wheel to wheel into the double right-handers now, and now almost 3 wide. Davison thought about showing the nose, but good racing here in the early laps side by side. Colleen will clear Larson, put him down to P11, looking like he might be struggling for speed again as well, as it will get right to the back of the 24. Couldn't quite get to his inside right there, so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but hold on, we might not have to wait for too long. Maybe we will. No, here we go. Here's the run on the 24. Not much speed at all. Byron, I mean, would have been above the cut line, but on the final lap in Chicago, a tire blew out and took several spots away from his finishing spot now, and he is going to pay the price here as he looks like he's struggling in Charlotte now. As look at the lead Caruth has over Zilish, Shane Van Gisbergen, Chase Elliott there running first through 4th. Chase Elliott 3 wins on the season, looking to make it 4. Several drivers with 2 wins, as well as myself. Joey Logano, who runs P7. Christopher Bell finally picked up his first win of the season in Chicago. He's just behind Chastain. You can see them both up there. Chastain, another driver with 2 wins, but he's only 12 points above the cut line to start this race. We're not going to show the live points update in stage 1 or 2 for this race, but we will be showing the live points updates in the elimination race in Auto Club, and the round of 12 is where we'll start to see the live points start to show up earlier in the round. But in the round of 16, it's not as important, because we've kind of got a good picture of what's going on in the first round of the playoffs now, as I'm working on passing the 06 Auto Nation Ford Mustang here of Cindric, and we will complete the pass, but hold on, we run a little bit wide, and that's going to leave the door of opportunity still open for him. A little bit wide onto oval turn 1, and now finally getting clear into the bus stop chicane, but actually clipped the wall, and he's back up my inside. Here comes Davison. He's passed both Larson and Byron. Contact now sliding. The 06 stays ahead, and now James Davison's got an opportunity to get up my inside here, and he's going to go take the position. Now, I recognize how quick he is, so I let him go into the chicane, and we drop back down to P10. It's been a bit of a slow start to this race, but he is still definitely a car to watch out for. As you can see, Logano is in a battle right now. Chastain's been going backwards. Cindric got past both Logano and Chastain. So Ross the Boss down to P8 with a Trackhouse teammate just behind him, has actually start putting some pressure because Davison, although I give him a break and let him go, he wasn't really making the most of it. He wasn't passing anyone out, so I go back around him. And now as well, doing that move gives me an opportunity to go after Chastain, to put him down to P9, put us up into P8. We'll go side by side through the right-hander, leave him the space there on the left, and we'll clear him hopefully right here. Yes, we will. He's side by side with Davison now, as we have gone from 12th to 8th in the first 6 complete laps of this race now. Carruth is continuing to lead the way over Connor Zilish. Connor Zilish, when we go to these road courses, the equipment, the lack of equipment at Andretti Global completely disappears and has to make you wonder, what is Connor Zilish going to be able to do in his second season of Cup Series competition in Trackhouse Honda machinery? I am so excited to watch what he can do there in a full-time Trackhouse ride. I think he is going to be a genuine threat immediately as a only second-year driver to maybe even fight for a championship. But still a lot of racing to go. Anything can happen. But we passed Logano, got up to P7 on this final lap here of stage number 1. Opened up the gap to those guys pretty easily. Cindric running away in P6. Bell up there in 5th. And it's all the 48 of Rajan Carruth coming through to win stage 1 over Connor Zilish. 2 young drivers with a bright future. Shane Van Gisbergen, Chase Elliott 3rd and 4th. SVG comes into this race 14 points below the cut line, and he picks up a handful of points right there, 8 points to be exact, which is perfect for him as we round the final chicane down the front straightaway to cross the stripe. We are P7 here in stage 1. Obviously not going to make any adjustments. Happy with how the car is driving for the most part, but it's going to be Davison, Logano all inside the top 9. I believe it's going to be Chastain there in P10. Yes, it is. Host of our P11. How far has Larson and Byron dropped is one of the questions I was wondering. As we are going to box here for 4 tires and feel very straightforward. And Byron is P12, Larson down to 14th, Briscoe 13th, Blaney 15th, Alex Bowman, a driver moving his way forward into P16, Keselowski struggling again in 18th, as he struggled last season when we got to playoff time, and it seems like again playoff time comes and Keselowski is struggling as we gain 1 spot in the pits, move up to P6, row 3 outside. Carruth set to lead the field to green. Stage 2 underway. 1 less lap in stage 2 compared to stage 1. 7 laps in what's been a good first stage of this race in terms of the racing. Hasn't been much chaos. Everyone's been pretty nice to each other. But we have seen, well, stage 3 can kind of be where things kick off. We saw that last episode in Chicago. The racing was great. There was a little bit of chaos, but that third stage is really where things kind of kicked off here now as we go down through the double right-handers now, and you see Carruth is gone. I mean, it's second on back right here together with Connor Zilish. Elliott slips through on SVG. He'll take P3. Elliott with some speed looking for that 4th win of the season, and Shane Van Gisbergen, one of 2 playoff drivers, 3 playoff drivers without a win this season, of course, with him, Chris Buescher, as well as William Byron now as we clear that 06 on the exit of turn 2, oval 2 that is, clipping the outside wall actually, but maintaining position into the bus stop chicane. If you're Bubba Wallace, you got to be pretty confident in heading to Andretti Global when you see your future car running P2 here at the road course now, as we continue to try and reel in that 20 of Christopher Ballin and enter the top 5 as we self-spin on the exit of the right-hander. We collect it immediately and get it back going and get, honestly, a huge lucky break. I mean, we just self-spun. We only lose 2 positions, but a huge break by not really damaging the car too significantly, and I think we're going to be okay.
Front end damage, but it's not too bad. We'll be okay, I think.
What happened there, Gary?
I just ran out of talent. No other story than that. That was all on me. So we gather it back up and we find ourselves in P8 and immediately looking for an overtake on Chastain. Behind us we got James Davison as well. Actually a bit of contact with Chastain into the chicane. We're getting aggressive and everyone's getting aggressive. Sliding goes to 1 and things are going from bad to worse now. We go P9 now because Davison and Hocevar slip through, but that's just hard racing right there on a road course, and myself and Chastain collide and get after it. So we clear Chastain and we do start driving away from him. So we focus back in. We got 4 laps to go in the stage. We've just completed 3. Let's just focus, let's settle down and do what we do best, and one of the things I do best is hitting other cars in this career mode, but the other thing, and that's just is focusing, moving forward, and finding a way to grind out these races. There's so many races where we've run bad, looked like we were done for, and we just focus on adjusting the car, and we get better as the race goes on, and we find a top 10 out of it. Now today we don't need to adjust the car drives fine. It's the driver that's been the problem so far. With 2 laps to go on the stage though, we're starting to turn things back around a little bit here, going around the outside of Hocevar. We had a bit of contact with our future teammate last episode in Chicago, of course. We're driving that number 8 car next season when they switch over to Cadillac for Junior Motorsports, but we know Hocevar will be remaining within the team, and he will be piloting the number 7 as JRM focuses on a 3 full car team expansion basically. So it's going to be very exciting on this final lap though of stage 2. P8 is where we find ourselves, and it's, you see on the track map Oval 3 there is a car all by itself a little bit off the pace. That's actually Earl Bamber. Not sure exactly what happened there, but Rajah Caruth again gonna come through to win the first 2 stages. What a drive from the rookie, as Zilish P2, Elliott 3rd, SVG 4th, Christopher Bell P5, 6th will go to Cindric, 7th James Davison, myself 8th, and Hocevar 9th to follow through these final few corners now down this short front straightaway, crossing the line for P8, and most importantly for us, an opportunity now to just reset for stage 3. James Davison looking strong. Don't rule out Zilish as well as Elliott and SVG. All of them, I think if any of those guys could get the lead, they could probably run away, just like the 48 of Rajan Caruth has done. Shout out to Caruth. We've continued to watch him get better throughout his first full-time season in the Cup Series, and now here he is leading races, winning stages, and putting himself in position to win. If he would have made the playoffs, I mean, who knows what could have happened. I mean, we saw what happened in the first race with the issues there, of course, with his DNF, but nonetheless, Caruth certainly already is going to be a playoff contender next season, as his second full-time season will kick off for Hendrick Motorsports. We lose 2 spots, down to P10, had to repair the car, of course, after that self-spin and crash into the concrete barrier. The third and final stage is underway, and Elliott got the lead in the pits. Caruth down to P2, and Chase Elliott from 3rd to 1st in the pit sequence, and that's going to put him and already multiple car lengths in front of Zilish and Caruth, who are side by side, and that could be the difference maker right there. Pit stops. Elliott, look at him, he's already gone. That 9 car, maybe he's been the fastest car here all day and just hasn't had the track position to show it. We'll force it 3 wide now with Hocevar and Chastain. Less than 20 to go. It's the 3rd stage, as I actually bang into the wall right there on the right side, and fortunately no damage as we continue on side by side with the 1 of Chastain. Elliott is gone. Caruth maintains P2 over Zilish as I clip the barrier on the right side that sticks out, and we damage the right side of the car a little bit. Fortunately not going to be performance impacting, but pushing a little bit too hard, trying to make up everything I can. We end up gaining something. We go from 10th to P9, and it's absolute chaos in front of us right there. Davison sliding. We'll pass Hocevar in that 3rd and final stage. You know it's underway at a road course. The chaos is picking up, and I don't think we're done yet as we continue through Oval 3 down to Oval 4 and now into the front stretch chicane to complete this first and opening lap here in stage number 3, and it's go time. We've been trying to go as well in the first 2 stages, but things just haven't been quite working out for me so far. But throughout the rest of this lap, continuing to follow James Davison here on to the oval, and we get a nice run right here on him, and we'll go to the right side of the track and can't quite materialize anything, so we'll pull back in line behind that number 91 Honda Civic there for Project 91 at Trackhouse Racing, and chase him all the way down into the chicane, but the caution is out, and it's for Tyler Reddick. Smoke pouring out of the right front of that car. Tire failure. NASCAR throws a caution. nobody is going to come into the pits. We're all going to stay out. If we pit now, we cannot make it to the end. Nobody can. Reddick, of course, will be pitting. It will not, I don't believe, be day over for the 45 of Tyler Reddick, who's been, of course, back from injury for a handful of races now. Missed the playoffs 2 seasons in a row. 23-11 missed the playoffs 2 seasons in a row. They're looking for a huge season in season 5. Denny Hamlin's made some big moves, getting, of course, now Ryan Blaney over to the team in place of Bubba Wallace, and of course they've got a future star potentially with Corey Heim. They've got a current star of Tyler Reddick, who just hasn't been able to make it work, but they can definitely find a way as they continue to try and expand their relationship with Joe Gibbs Racing. We'll see what they have next season now. A good restart here alongside the 91 of Davison. 15 laps to go as again Elliott drives away. Caruth maintains second in his Zillish SVG, and now Austin Cindric into the top 5, but for how long? Because Chicagoland winner Christopher Bell back up is inside there. My Joe Gibbs teammate, he's going to get back in front. He will maintain P5. And how about Ty Gibbs? He's been non-existent today. Outside of the top 10, he comes into this race 12 points above the cut line. He's not running very well, and what I thought was maybe a championship threat, of course, won the championship last season. He's the defending champion of the Cup Series. Suddenly has maybe put himself in position to be at risk of elimination going into Auto Club next episode, the final NASCAR Cup Series race at the Auto Club Speedway. Logano comes in with a 34-point advantage. He's not been running so hot. He's been falling down the order all race long, but he's got that 34 points to back him up. He would have to have something go catastrophically wrong, like getting caught up in some kind of incident for things to go south for him quickly, as we continue maintaining P7 and now really settling in. We got a comfortable gap to 8th place of Hocevar, and now we can try to focus in on going once again after James Davison, and then hopefully as well get our teammate of Christopher Bell in the process. That would move us into the top 5. As you can see, look at the gap condensed between myself and those two. And then into turn 1, Davison with a slip, and now we're right to the right rear, side by side up along his door now, and here's an opportunity to catch him off guard. There we go. Thank you very much. Can we get clear through the right-handers? He'll continue to fight back, but we should be able to get him right here. Yes, we do. P6. Let's drive away and go run down our teammate of Christopher Bell with just over 10 laps to go at this point in time. Elliott continues to lead, and not only lead, but he continues to drive away. All he needed was the lead, and his pit crew got him the lead to start the 3rd stage, and he is opening up that gap. Chase Elliott in command in the Charlotte Roval, a track where he's had so much success at in the past. He's yet to win a championship in our career mode. He won the 2020 championship, a one-time champ looking for his 2nd title, and he is really coming into form later in this season. Kyle Larson, of course, Martin Truex Jr., champions of the career mode. Now the 91 of Davison right behind us goes spinning onto the oval. He'll look to get it collected. Cindric Bowman, who's up into the top 10, has gone through, and that's, I believe, maybe that's Briscoe that's caught a piece of it. Larson slips through. He is still trying to collect this, and playoff drivers are piling in. Ryan Blaney gets a piece of it. It's still not over. Now Logano's going to go around. Kyle Busch got a piece of it. Busher as well. Austin Hill. Several playoff drivers involved in Logano and Gibbs. They're both all the way in the back now. Gibbs had to check up. Logano takes a huge amount of damage. 2 playoff drivers that have taken huge hits here. They're in the bottom half of the field as Davison still in front of everybody into this bus stop chicane as Logano's gonna turn Ryan Preece into the bus stop now. He completely dumps him, but I believe he had help from my teammate of Ty Gibbs. An instant look at that. Gibbs certainly pile drives into the back of Logano. Logano can't do anything about it, and Ryan Preece gets the short end of the stick. Absolute chaos, and no caution flies out of it. We stay green. That would have been a yellow flag, safety car, whatever you call it, in any motorsport, and NASCAR has decided to keep it green here with 11 laps to go. Logano and Gibbs both absolutely catastrophic now, especially for Ty Gibbs with a 12-point advantage. Unless something crazy happens now, he's going to be below the cut line going into Auto Club, which is perfect scenario for William Byron, and Logano is going to be giving up a lot of points right there as well. He's not going to be safe, so they're going to have to try something. They need to get off sequence and hope for a perfectly timed yellow. That's the only thing that can even give them a chance to salvage this day. But wow, this is big for those two drivers. Ryan Blaney did get a piece of it, but he kept going. Kyle Busch got a bit of a piece of it, but he's fine. He got through as well. As now, here we go, fighting to the outside, to enter the top 5 against our teammate of Christopher Bell. He's up my left door here as we enter this first turn, but we'll clear him on the exit there, nearly into the outside wall, but we maintain P5. What can we do? Can we run down second, third, and fourth? Caruth, Zilish, Shane Van Gisbergen, and that 97. SVG's done everything he's needed to do. He's entered this day 14 points below the cut line after running pretty mid. Trackhouse as a whole ran quite mid in Chicago, but SVG been the best Trackhouse driver all day. He's doing what he needs to do. If he finishes here after getting the points he has in stage 1 and 2, he is going to be above the cut line going into Auto Club. And I think Shane Van Gisbergen's thriving on the road courses that are in this first round, second round, and third round before we get to the final 4, and he can thrive all playoff long because of that. But he's still going to have to show up at the ovals because one race that goes good in a round isn't going to be enough. Now we've got pit stops, Gibbs and Logano. We said they need to get off sequence. They do exactly that. They pit before the majority of the field, and at the end of this lap they were so far behind that as the leaders are coming in, including myself, we're almost lapping Gibbs and Logano. They need a caution to come out. That's the only way this works out. And they just got it. The caution is on the racetrack. This is huge for those few drivers now, and it's actually Eric Jones who hit the wall. Hard contact there, and he goes all the way into the infield, and he's just gonna start going wherever he pleases, and the caution flies. We are allowed to complete our pit stop as well, so we're gonna still maintain good track position. Some drivers are gonna lose, some drivers are gonna win. Logano and Gibbs are the big winners. They move forward now. Briscoe gains 26 spots, and same for Gibbs and Logano. They gain 20 plus positions because of this, as Elliott leads the field back to the green. The front 10 really don't change, but there you see Logano and Gibbs right there side by side. Chris Buescher loses out. He loses quite a bit of track position. William Byron doesn't really gain or lose a whole lot. Kyle Larson, he's been mid all day. He hasn't really lost or gained really anything out of this sequence now, but we're back underway, and it's only 3 laps of racing to go. But wow, what a plot twist with Logano and Gibbs, and I'm curious to see. I mean, now it's just confusion. Who's going to get the short end of the stick here? Who's going to be out of the playoffs, or out of currently the playoffs, because this is not an elimination race. This is the second middle race of this round. Still one more race to go, but I'm still curious to see who is going to be below the cut line. Keselowski, most certainly. He is just been really struggling. Austin Hill definitely going to be below the cut line as we clear Shane Van Gisbergen, move ourselves into 4th. But I'm curious about Byron. Haley might be below the cut line. It might be Byron, Haley, Keselowski, Hill. We'll find out in 2 laps. Nonetheless, what can we do? Elliott's gone again. Caruth in P2. Got to be heartbreaking for Rajah Caruth. He dominated, got pole, won the first 2 stages. Elliott gets a better pit stop, takes the lead, and drives away. It was pretty evident the 9 car was the fastest car. He just needed the track position to showcase it. But what a day again for Rajah Caruth. To have a day like he had in Chicago, where he was so strong, running top 10, top 5 at times, have 2 mechanical failures, end your day, but you bounce back and have a career best day the next week. Caruth, a future star of this career mode, hands down. Connor Zilish as well, in a car that's nowhere near on the level as that 48 car when it comes to the just overall power. He finds himself pressuring that 48, and when that equipment, of course, kind of doesn't matter at like a short track or a road course here, Zilish is proving what he is capable of now, as we are watching, I think, 2 stars of this career mode in the making right in front of us on this final lap of this Charlotte Roval. But Chase Elliott, it's all on him. The spotlight is Christopher Bell. Won the first race of this round, but Chase Elliott, 3 wins, about to be 4, putting himself into that round of 12. He will not have to worry. Kyle Larson, I can confirm, in stage 1 and 2, although he didn't get points, he's in a position right now to where he will advance into the round of 12 simply on the points advantage that he has. It wasn't pretty today for us in this number 19 Mobile 1 Toyota Camry, but we did what we had to do, and we're going to come out of here with what looks like P4 unless we get a run on Zilish. But Chase Elliott, win number 4, and a lock into the round of 12. Elliott wins again in the Charlotte Roval. Caruth P2. Zilish right there at the line barely holds me off for 3rd. We get 4th. Shane Van Gisbergen in the 5th position. A great day for the New Zealander. And as Elliott burns it down, we see the finishing order. Austin Cindric, Hocevar, Bell, how about Earl Bamber in the top 10, Chase Briscoe in the top 10 as well over Larson. Gibbs ends up 12th, Logano 17th. Gibbs got what he needed back there to put himself in a comfortable position in the playoff situation. Busher, Byron rounding out the top 20, and Chastain 21st, Kyle Busch 22nd. Not a great start to this round for Kyle Busch. You have to wonder, after missing the playoffs last season, will he be a first round exit in this round or in this season, as we see the rest of the finishing order. Let's look at the playoff grid. Bell, Elliott, Larson, all locked in. Larson on points, the 2 others on wins. We are the next driver behind Kyle Larson, but looking at the drivers below the cut line, Byron still out. That's a bit surprising there. He's 1 point below Kyle Busch. Justin Haley, Keselowski, and Austin Hill all out. Keselowski 25 points out. Same for Hill at 30. They pretty well have to win, but you never know what's going to happen. Haley out by 12. Kyle Busch only in by 1, and Busher in by 6. Those two very much in the danger zone. How about Shane Van Gisbergen? Now 17 points above the cut line, and Briscoe 18 points. That's going to do it for me. Round of 16 elimination race next episode in Auto Club, the final race there before it's torn down. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.